Hi, I'm Sam B. On Sunday, Daunte Wright was shot and killed by police in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, after being pulled over for a minor traffic violation. Kim Potter, the police officer who fatally shot Daunte Wright, resigned from her position and is expected to be charged with second-degree manslaughter. But that is not enough. It does not change the fact that this was yet another horrifying example of violence against Black people by the police, and it was one of over 260 police killings that have occurred in just the first 3.5 months of 2021. Police said they pulled Wright over for having expired tags and tried to detain him when they found that he had an existing warrant for misdemeanor charges. In the wake of Daunte's killing, some have defended the actions of the police by citing his previous warrant. But regardless of his record, Daunte did not deserve to die. When a white person is pulled over, they don't have to fear for their lives just because they bought an air freshener to make their car smell like a Christmas tree. Somehow, the police will pull a Black person over for a tiny piece of cardboard hanging from a mirror, but not a white person for having a series of bumper stickers that essentially say, "I'm probably a murderer." This is a world in which the officer who shot Jacob Blake gets to return to work, while white mass shooters are treated with more care and respect than countless Black people who are just trying to live their lives. Make no mistake, this situation escalated because Daunte was Black. While the police have claimed that the shooting was an accident and the officer had intended to fire a taser and not a gun, it doesn't change anything. A man was violently confronted by police and killed. And the way America polices Black people is no accident. As the ACLU says, police exist to uphold white supremacy and have been empowered by the courts to inject themselves into Black life for any reason, no matter how minor. Daunte's murder occurred only about 10 miles from where Derek Chauvin is currently on trial for the murder of George Floyd. As Chauvin's trial entered its third week, his attorney addressed Sunday's shooting, if only to try and take advantage of it.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, I am requesting, again, sequestration of the jury in view of the incidents of last night.
It was his argument that there was a good chance that some of these jurors might see some of the media coverage and they might be intimidated. The judge came back and denied that motion.
Yeah, apparently it's tough because if you want to keep the jury from learning about police racism, you'll need to find a way to sequester them from all of American history. Incredibly, Minneapolis's chief of police actually admitted that the defendants' use of force absolutely violated their policy. His testimony is a rare case where police officials opt to tell the truth rather than stick to the so-called blue wall of silence. And while Chauvin's defense team have argued that other medical issues could have caused Floyd's death, experts confirmed that only the police officer himself could have been responsible.
Mr. Floyd's use of fentanyl did not cause the subdual or neck restraint. His heart disease did not cause the subdual or the neck restraint.
I can state with a high degree of medical certainty that George Floyd did not die from a primary cardiac event, and he did not die from a drug overdose.
There's no evidence to suggest he would have died that night, except for the interactions with law enforcement.
But we don't need an expert to know the reason that George Floyd died. George Floyd was murdered by a police officer who cared so little for his humanity that he pinned him to the ground and held his knee on his neck for almost 10 minutes. These are not isolated incidents, nor were they mistakes. This is the outcome of centuries of policing of Black bodies. Until we end racist policing, we will never see any real change. Daunte Wright deserves justice. George Floyd deserves justice. Countless other lives destroyed by police violence deserve justice because Black lives matter.